Alright, here's the thing. There's this bike. Not loud, not trying to rip your arms off at the lights, not the sort of machine that ends up plastered all over some influencer's garage backdrop. But if you rode through the early 2000s in America, it's probably still rattling around somewhere in the back of your skull. Honda called it the Shadow Aero 750, an actual real-deal production motorcycle. 745cc V-twin, shaft drive, chrome for days, built from 2004 all the way through 2014, with the broader Shadow family kind of lingering on in the US until about 2022, when even the Phantom finally bowed out. And then nothing, just silence, a clean kill, no funeral. And yet the forums never stopped talking. Facebook groups, dealership counters, random comment sections, always the same question, like a ghost that refuses to leave. Is Honda ever gonna bring it back? So here's what I did. I spent more time than I probably should have, digging through old press kits, spec sheets, owner testimonials from dudes who've put 80,000 miles on their Aero and still polish the tank on Sunday mornings, and I started asking myself, what would that motorcycle even look like in 2026 if Honda's engineers dusted it off and gave it another shot? Not a cynical parts bin rehash, a real, thoughtful revival. Let's walk through it. Because, and I mean this, the picture that came together genuinely surprised me. You start with the heartbeat, that 745cc liquid-cooled V-twin. If this thing comes back, that mill doesn't get copy-pasted from 2004 like some forgotten tax document. It gets breathed on. Fuel injection, obviously, tuned for whatever labyrinth of emissions regs we're dealing with now, but more importantly, tuned to preserve what made the Aero feel like the Aero, which was this: torque that showed up immediately, right around 3,000 RPM before your brain has even finished registering that the stoplight turned green. Peak horsepower? Somewhere in the 45 to 50 range. Nobody's dragging knees on a canyon road with that number, sure. But on a long Sunday ride with nowhere to be, it's perfect. It's exactly enough. And the drivetrain, 6th-speed gearbox, shaft final drive. Let me just say, to anyone who spent a rainy Tuesday evening out in the garage cleaning and lubing a chain after a long weekend trip, you'll understand why I'm about to get a little emotional here. Shaft drive means you get on, you ride, you wash it, you park it, you ride again. It's not a feature. For the kind of people who actually buy these machines, daily commuters, weekend tourers, the folks who'd rather look at scenery than at a maintenance schedule, it's the whole point. Now, the heavy lifting. Original Aero weighed something like 514 pounds wet. Back in 2004, that was pretty respectable for a cruiser in this class. Fast forward 20 years though, and you've got machines like the Royal Enfield Supermeter 650, the Vulcan S, Suzuki's C50, midweight competition that's sharper, lighter, flickable. So Honda's designers, if they're taking this seriously, would have to trim some fat. A modern steel frame with cleaner geometry, maybe shaving the wet weight down toward 490 pounds. Not featherweight, no, but planted, stable. The Aero was never supposed to feel twitchy. It was supposed to feel like it could cruise through 3 state lines without breaking a sweat. And the seat height, 25.6 inches on the original. You don't touch that. Honestly, you'd be an idiot to touch that. That ultra-low saddle was the handshake, the welcome mat. New riders, shorter riders, folks coming back after a decade away. The Aero's accessibility wasn't just a bullet point, it was the bike's whole personality. You sat in it, not on it. But then, we have to talk about the look. And look, I'll be upfront with you. The styling is the emotional core of this entire idea. The Aero wasn't just a spec sheet, it had presence. Deep valanced fenders that swooped, that teardrop tank catching light, the big round headlight like it fell out of some better, simpler decade, spoked wheels, long chrome exhaust that you could spot from the far end of a Walmart parking lot. It wasn't retro for the sake of being retro, it just was classy, effortlessly so. So for 2026, you keep that DNA, every inch of it. Then you fold in modern execution, full LED lighting, but designed to look classic. None of that insectoid transformer face nonsense. Colors that make grown men get misty-eyed. pearl white with polished chrome gleaming against it, candy red deep enough to swim in, maybe a midnight blue for people who want to be a little less flashy but still turn heads at the gas station. The instrument cluster? A clean analog-style speedo with a small digital inset for the essentials: fuel, gear position, trip meter. That's it. No tablet glued to the handlebars, no satellite navigation beaming directions into your soul. You're on a Shadow. You're not commanding a starship. Suspension? Telescopic fork, dual rear shocks with adjustable preload, old-school layout, updated tuning. Brakes? ABS front and rear, standard. No optional upgrade nonsense. It's 2026 for crying out loud. Honda knows better than to nickel and dime safety on a legacy nameplate. Which brings me to the part that's going to make some of you raise an eyebrow. Price. The last Shadows were hovering around $7,500 to $8,000 MSRP. If this 2026 revival actually happened, with modern injection, full LED, chassis refinements, ABS mandated, you'd realistically be looking at somewhere between $8,500 and $9,300. Still well under a Harley Nightster, a comfortable distance from an Indian Scout. Right in that sweet spot where an American mid-weight cruiser actually needs to sit if it's going to move off dealer floors in real numbers. Here's the bizarre thing though, I mean genuinely baffling. The market is screaming for exactly this kind of motorcycle right now. Royal Enfield's Super Meter 650 proved that riders are hungry, starving really, for bikes with soul and heritage at a price that doesn't require a second mortgage. And Honda, one of the most capable manufacturers on the planet, sitting on one of the most adored cruiser nameplates in American history, they currently offer no answer to that. It's not just a missed opportunity, it's a gaping hole. The Shadow Aero was the answer once, and honestly, it could be the answer all over again. Shaft drive, V-twin torque that doesn't make you wait, seat low enough for almost anyone, styling that actually ages gracefully instead of embarrassing itself 5 years later, ABS standard. Under $9,000, available from Maine to California. Tell me that bike doesn't sell. Tell me it doesn't pull in guys and gals who left riding when Honda pulled the plug. Tell me it doesn't hook first-timers looking for something beautiful, something unintimidating, something built to actually last beyond a lease cycle. Go on, you can't say it with a straight face. All right, I owe you honesty, so here it is. The bike I just laid out for you, the 2026 Shadow Aero 750, with all its gleaming chrome and low-end grunt and perfectly judged pricing, doesn't exist yet, not at the end anyway. This is a concept pulled straight from the bike's real lineage, from what the market is begging for, from those lingering conversations in forums and parking lots. The specs, the design philosophy, the price range, all of it's grounded in what Honda could do tomorrow if someone in the boardroom decided to stop ignoring the elephant in the room. But there's no official announcement, no dealer pre-order sheets sitting on anyone's desk, just the possibility. Meanwhile, a whole community of riders still remembers what that bike felt like, and every year Honda leaves that gap unfilled is another year somebody else gets the sale. So tell me, should Honda bring the Shadow Aero back? Honestly, I want to hear your take, down in the comments. And if you're the sort of person who loves these what-if revivals, bikes the big manufacturers abandoned that deserve a second shot, there's another video waiting for you right on the screen. Hit it. I'll see you there.